bring this one back. Bruno?
I think they need to. I agree with prioritizing Super. It's a shame to have a Weaver hero with such high impact and not give him the farm he deserves. Otherwise, we'll be struggling. This team is not all about burning, although he is the key part of the team. Give something more to Super, and maybe expect something crazy from our OTK. Maybe he can get the Nature's Prophet this time and make these crazy teleports that he surprises us with all the time.
Or be the ones to initiate on Alliance, because what we just saw was that S4 pretty much dictated every fight by blinking in, four-stepping out a target. Maybe if ROTK got the clockwork we saw yesterday, if they had an Enigma with a blink dagger and a BKB, if they dictate the fights instead of having Alliance take the fights with them, I think it might turn out better for them.
Yeah, I would like to see Burning on a more aggressive hero, maybe Weaver, just not a super heavy farm. I know he's like well known for his Alchemist as well as the Anti-Mage, but I don't think he'll stand up to Alliance's playstyle.
Yeah, and I personally think, a little bit of fear factor in the team fights wouldn't go amiss either. So we'll see what DK are going to do, because that's where we're going. Game 2 is ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the match. Best of luck to both teams. It's DK versus Alliance, Game 2, and DK need to win this to stay in the upper bracket.
Alliance versus DK.
And we're back for game number 2 of DK versus Alliance. Can we get some hype? This is a winner bracket semifinals. DK down 1 game, but they are striking back because Burning, B-God, Living Legend, and now his Anti-Mage.
Yeah, Burning gets his Anti-Mage. That could be the difference, but Alliance, they knew they were giving it away potentially. You do see DK, same bans for them. They ban out the Lone Druid, they ban out the Wisp. It's what they did in game 1. Alliance, though, when they don't have first pick, will not give away Batrider. We see that here. There was an OD available as well, something that Super has played in the past mid, but I wouldn't say a signature hero. Instead, what happens with Alliance is you try and ban them out a bit, right? So you remove some of their strongest heroes, the Wisp, the Lone Druid, but they're going to get something. And they get the Prophet here, and we actually see a support that was banned in the second stage last game, picked up now. They'll go for a Naga. I feel like this is a deterrent to an Enigma pick later on.
All right, OD. I'm going to let you finish. But Alliance is on Dire.
Yeah.
Let's story time?
Story time. Okay.
Take it back to G1 when the opening match was Alliance versus DK. We had DK on the Radiant. They did the draft near the standard, I think Anti-Mage or PL, whatever they were doing. And then Alliance on the Dire. They pick a couple of heroes. There was some Ursa or something like that.
5 seconds.
And then 5 teleport squirrels right to the mid bot towers, and they just went for the Roshan. Can we make it happen again? I mean, Alliance, this is the same opponent that they did against. And in fact, after that level on Roshan, they didn't even just roll the game. It was a very, very hard push. They eventually taken out. Alliance wants to kind of maybe knock DK again with the same strat, or?
I mean, you beat DK standard, playing your standard game. Why change? Why risk it? Because I think
because they can.
Because they can. That's true. But I think you force DK to beat you, and then if you want to cheese, maybe you consider.
Okay.
Because to me, when you go, the reason that game they had so much trouble was because the kind of lineups they can do level 1 Roche aren't generally as good at breaking high ground. Because you have a hero like Ursa, who you have to spend a lot of item slots on a BKB, on a Blink Dagger, these types of items. You won't have a Wisp to move him around. And he's not the best hero later on. So I think if you're Alliance, just stick with what's working. You can win in a split push war. You can win in a farm war. We've seen they can take DK late. It is Burning's Anti-Mage, but I think if there's one team in this tournament that should not be afraid of DK's late game, it's probably Alliance, because they're winning most of their games pretty late.
Ooh, and looks like Alliance want to challenge the late game of DK.
Can they still Roche with this? There is Acid Spray.
You definitely can.
I mean, minus armor here.
Throughout this draft, we're going to say, we're going to keep track. Yeah, we're going to keep track on Roche, because all you really need is like an Ursa. Maybe in the past they have gone a bait to Roche. I mean, we saw in the group stage where they show Treants walk in and out of the pit where you're smoked up, and then you go for a huge backstab. A little bit more difficult to do it against a team with blinks. So we'll see what Alliance have up their mind.
Yeah, Burning can definitely scout this out better than most. But even the threat of that, if he has to skill Blink at level 1, it still ultimately helps Alliance, because that means Burning doesn't have Mana Burn at level 1. He can't really zone out the Prophet of Bulldog as effectively if he's in the lane. They'll go back for a Nyx, though. Great burst damage, great pick-off potential, and they did get a first-pick Visage this game. Now, let's not forget, Visage has been doing a lot of work. Even in defeat, this hero is like throwing his entire team on his back and flapping those wings and making things happen around the map.
Yeah, whoever that's playing the Visage, whether QQQ or MMY, it's going to be earning some fantasy points, because those solo assumptions are going to be flying fast and hard. I really like the support draft of Team DK. Last game, they weren't really doing too well because they were forced into a defensive position. I think Shadow Demon and Jakiro both very defensive support, and then on this game, when they have the initiative to draft early, they're going with a support that could do a ton of damage, a ton of burst damage at that to pick off heroes like Naga Siren and Alchemist.
Yeah, their pick-off potential is way stronger this game, and also Alliance, their split push isn't as scary. Like, you have Alku could definitely split push, Prophet can as well, but they don't have an anti-mage Prophet. That's much stronger. There's no Keeper of the Light, so I think in terms of keeping the creep waves pushed out, DK will be in much better shape. Plus, they're the team that has the scariest ganker, at least for the early stages, which is the Nyx Assassin. So Alliance will be deterred somewhat from that aggression, but they get so many signatures. They get the Bulldog Prophet, they get Alchemist, one of the many carries that Loda can play. He's pretty versatile. And now the Chen. So the one question that remains is, what is S4 going to play? There is a Puck in the pool. I feel like that's the obvious choice here, but what do you think?
Yeah, with the OD ban now, I think Puck is definitely one of his definitely go-to heroes. Sets you up for team fights. Between Naga Siren and Puck Ultimates, you have a lot of control, a lot of crowd control dealing with things like Visage and Nyx Assassin. We have seen him in the past play Timbersaw, which I'm not sure how he actually matches up against Anti-Mage, for example, but he definitely can shred these two supports quite easily. They may be good at nuking people down, but they're not too good at running away.
Yeah, the one issue with running to Timbersaw is he doesn't actually give you any lockdown versus anti-mage. You have the Chakram slow, but that doesn't really count. So ultimately, it's massive pure damage, but then they really count on these supports, like the Naga Siren to get some farm, the Prophet for Bulldog to get a slight device, and it means no pressure on Bernie until later on. So I still think Puck's the choice, but we'll see what DK bans, and now they work on their fourth pick, and they'll go for a Darkseer. RTK, I have to say, I was kind of underwhelmed by his performance last game, and I don't think it was that he played poorly, it was that Alliance had great heroes to punish him. Anti-Mage versus Darkseer with an Abyssal Blade, very, very hard to deal with. So is a Bat Rider with Lasso. I look at Alliance right now, and I don't feel like they have quite the same level of lockdown to really just pick them off. So we could see more from RTK this game.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's going to come from item as well. We looked at Alliance draft last time. It's like, oh, you only have Flaming Lasso and maybe a Shackle Shot, which is not really reliable. But
yeah,
they pick up Orchid, they pick up Scythe of Ice, and then like there's 25 Force Staffs, I think. And suddenly it gets really hard. So I think Alliance is a team that could get farmed very quickly. We saw the early game jungle stacking, we saw the Ancient stacking, and I think it's going to be the standard here. Of course, let's not forget about Alchemist Basher in the late game as well. That's an important lock-on item.
Yeah, we have seen with Alchemist, though, that you've got to send so many inventory slots on items that don't help you lock down the Anti-Mage. Like, you get your Shadow Blade, that doesn't really help you too much. You have whatever your boots are. Anti-Mage can get the Butterfly, the Heart, the Manta, the BKB, and then the Abyssal Blade, or replace one of those and have boots. And ultimately, I think Burning could take this late. It really is going to come down to just the early movements of both teams. You have a Chen up now for Alliance, and we'll see a ban coming out from Alliance. It's going to be a Mag, so Alliance, they want to secure the late game a bit. They'll remove probably the strongest solo mid that could take it late. It's not out of the question it could be a solo mid Nyx, but I lean towards a DK going for something else here for Super.
Yeah, I think the Mag's a pretty decent ban. Right now, DK's okay in teamfight with the Darkseer Vacuum Wall, but taking out Empower as well as RP away from DK is pretty big. We've seen in the past Empower plus Anti-Mage farm really powerful.
Smart
of course,
ban. I like this.
DK did their homework. Gonna ban out one of SF4's best hero, Puck.
So what's he going to play now? S4, normally his hero is picked up by this stage of the draft. And, I mean, I don't know. We've seen some Storm from him. Not really the best Storm game against Anti-Mage as well as Nyx. What are you thinking, Lumi?
Well,
there you go.
Something tanky. Dragon Knight in the front line.
Dragon Knight's nice against Anti-Mage because he has a low mana pool. So even if you lose all your mana void's not going to hurt you too much. You have high armor, so the physical damage isn't as big of a deal. He can push early. He doesn't need a whole lot of farm to get involved. And if you get a few towers, that means Loda's Midas, Bulldog's Midas are going to be coming out faster. And then all of a sudden, let the farm begin. Alliance, although there is an Anti-Mage on DK side, they're not that good at farming outside of the Anti-Mage, whereas Alliance have, I'd say, 5 heroes that are all quite good farmers.
Is this where you go Timbersaw? Because for DK, because it actually matches up quite well against DK on the mid lane. Dragon Knight in the mid lane.
I think it might be a nice choice. There's some high armor heroes on Alliance, and having pure damage that is magic based and doesn't care about your armor value is a great way to bypass that.
Good early game defense Chakram. We've seen a lot of time throughout this tournament. They're going to go with the Beastmaster instead. So this is as one core as it possibly get. This is for Protect 1.
This is for Protect 1. DK live by it. They die by it. They tried some different styles coming into this match, but here we are, and they're turning back to the old staple. It's going to be a super Beastmaster mid. And so for DK now, Do they try and go aggressive tri-lane with this? I mean, is there any way they could do that with ROTK, or are we just going to see them give away free farm to Loda, allow Ake's Chen to do whatever he wants, and just hope that Burning can get too fat to fail?
I think DK traditionally they're going to go with, as we have Hala. Thank you for putting that Prophet Procer up. Traditionally in the past, and Burning has played the style for what? 25 years?
Longer than we've been alive.
100 years. He's been playing 4 Protect 1 for forever. And the way that they love to do is, ROTK, you're on your own up top. You're doing your own thing, and we're going to put Burning defensive tri-lane and get him farmed. So let's see if we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, don't forget that DK actually beat Fnatic decisively with an early triple kill on Burning in the tri-lane. So if he has that kind of an explosive start, you can just erase everything we've talked about because the mid-game matchups might not even come to fruition. But now it's time for Game 2 of DK versus Alliance. Alliance leading 1-0. And the champs, well, right now they're looking like them. Alliance undefeated thus far, and they're on the dire side. You've got living legend Loda handling the Alchemist. EGM going to be playing the Naga Siren. Loda is rushing that might, as you can see, sitting on 450 gold. Ake the Chen. S4, the solo mid DK, rushing a bottle. That leaves Bulldog as your offlane Prophet, not spending his gold just yet. And then on the Radiant side, it's Team DK. They'll be spearheaded by Burning's anti-mage here, starting with the Tangos, the Poor Man Shield as well. QQQ the Visage. That puts ROTK onto the Darkseer towards the middle lane. Super, the solo mid Beastmaster, and then in the secondary support role, we'll have Dai or MMY on that Nyx Assassin.
Very standard item choice coming out. In fact, Admiral Bulldog going to be jungling it up. It seems like as he has opened up with Glove of Face, that's generally a build that you just sit in jungle, AFK for a bit, and then rush for Hand of Midas. But I think what I've taken away from the draft is the fact that Burning says, hey man, Loda, you beat me with AM, I'm going to pick AM. And Loda says, I got you with the Alchemist. Let's swap and let's see who's going to take the game.
I mean, what we also saw is that Loda just has more backup. At least he did in Game 1. So what we're going to see from Bulldog here is he's going bottom lane. He'll spawn at least one more set of Trance. And what he wants to do is just stop these supports from getting their stacks. So he'll try and block the pulls. You can see Burning doing a nice job of body blocking, but with no Quelling Blade, he should get one Trant into the lane. No, actually, he's just going to mess up the pull, it looks like. He'll spawn another set soon if he'd like. And in fact, he's sending one in. And this is why he goes to the lane first. He'll slow down the jungle.
Oh, the block.
You just want to delay the Nyx Assassin and the Visage, maybe 1 or 2 creep camps. Then he'll probably go jungle, and he will rush for the Midas. So both teams, very defensive start. Who do you favor here?
I mean, after that block went successfully, I got to go with DK, at least in the first couple of minutes, because that's how Emerald Bulldog generally wins the lane. You get a couple of simultaneous treants pulling. He is going to block camp, very good micro here. But he generally gets a quick level 2 or even level 3 because of those pullings. DK supports just on top of it, using their spells, using impales. A lot of supports like, oh, let's save my spell. Let's go for that first blood.
It's not enough, though. In fact, he's going to magic bush them. He's going to block, well, this camp already spawned, so it doesn't really matter. But he still blocks this camp again. And they're running a Nyx and a Visage. These supports need levels. They need level 6, and already it's dramatically delayed. Now Bulldog goes into the jungle. This is just Alliance really understanding how to use Nature's Prophet, slow down the enemy supports. DK heavily rely on level 6 on theirs. Alliance will find their level 6 uncontested. So I got to say off the bat, Alliance to me, because of that, have a bit of an edge.
Yeah, let's see if they were actually aware of that Prophet has left the lane and see if they could get a little bit of early game tower damage. Although QQ being a little bit spotted out by, again, Treants. How does Bulldog always have lone Treants just running around the map?
Yeah, and still he's jungling now. You can see he's just farming the small camp. His supports are grouped up top. Ake, as well as Loda, and EGM, maybe looking to force this tier 1 early. RTK could TP in, but if he, well, not now. I mean, if he wants to defend this tower, though, it's a tri-lane that can easily kill a Darkseer. Naga, as well as Alk, and a Troll Trap. This is pretty much indefensible to DK.
Yeah, it looks like this is a little bit of nostalgic back to Ti3, where we saw a lot more early game tower pushes. Nobody making a rotation just yet. Obviously, though, Nature's Prophet could make the rotation if a push comes to the bot lane because of his teleport. And I think we're going to see a push pretty soon.
As early as this is, you know, there's that compendium prediction. It's a sub 2-minute tower. Do you think one will ever happen in Ti3? I mean, it's already past 2 minutes. That's how early a sub 2-minute tower is. But the first tower uncontested will go to the Alliance.
And look at Loda.
And this is so big for them because they're going to run a double Midas strat. Already one Midas is up, and now Bulldog, not far off of his. They could have 2 Midases by like 4 to 5 minutes.
Loda's going to have like a 3-minute Hand of Midas. Like, can you just wrap your mind around that? Standard timing for players like Black, it's like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. But Loda with the tower lasted, not missing a single creep kill, it seems like, is going to have a 3-minute Hand of Midas.
The jinx is strong here. He'll miss one, but there you go. He'll have his Hand of Midas, like you said, around the 3-minute mark. If you're burning, you're getting free farm, but this is the difference between how Alliance and DK have managed to play the Alk. Alliance are ensuring that their Alk will be incredibly far ahead for minute 1, whereas when DK were playing the Alk, Burning actually was just keeping up. He was never dramatically outpacing that anti-mage until it was too late.
That's really the difference in terms of playstyle. DK relied on Burning actually doing the damage in terms of spell and as well as ganking. Meanwhile, on your Alliance, everybody's farm, so everybody could participate in those ganks, everybody could participate in base defenses, whereas it seems like Burning had to do everything by himself.
Well, yeah, and it also just goes back to the fact that he kept on getting picked off.
Right.
2 deaths on an Alk early game is, I mean, it's only 2, but it's a lot because it means you have your battlefield up, you're not stacking camps, you're not farming camps, you're not getting Greeble's greed stacks, and it's just a very, the farm accelerates dramatically. Now a smoke from Ake. Alliance, they've secured their double Midas. One already up, it's already been used. The other coming pretty soon. And now they want to secure a good start in the mid lane, but QQQ is there, and he will block the smoke gang. Nice early movement from him, super safe. And that means a quick level 6.
Yeah, back in mid lane here, we haven't looked at it too much, but Super leading in terms of CS. S4 generally known as one of the best solo mid in all of Europe. And I thought he was going to beat a lot of the Chinese solo mid, but Super's got the best of him, it seems like.
I mean, S4, he's a fantastic mid player, and it's not that he's bad in the laning stage, but he excels in the mid game, man.
Yeah,
his movement is his strongest suit, and it suits Alliance perfectly because he's always finding the pickoffs, creating space for Loda and Bulldog. Their 3-position player is, to me, really their secondary carry. S4 to me is really the 3 role, even though he goes mid. He's always setting up the kills, creating space for Loda and Bulldog, and trading in this mid lane, to me, is going to favor Alliance there as well, because I'd rather have farm on the Dragon Knight than a Beastmaster. It all comes down to that movement, though. Can Super set something up early? If not, if Alliance aren't getting caught, then Alliance are getting better trades here as well.
Yeah, also, S4 is hitting level 6. Once he gets it here, he's going to allow his, for example, one of the Centaurs to catch up after his initiation stun, and then perhaps you could set up a kill. Obviously, he's Super playing on a very tanky melee strength hero, so he should be okay, especially with the magic stick on top.
Tier 1 bottom, DK looking for their first tower of their own. It's falling fast, there's no glyph available. Alliance, though, content to have secured their early Midases, will give it up. So Burning strikes first, or second, I should say, and now he's close to a Claymore, up to 1,400 gold, but generally, we've seen he won't get too greedy. He'll go for power treads before the Battle Fury.
Sometimes they go Battle Fury if you want to kind of go really, really offensive, if just kind of angle for kind of a cheesy build.
I mean, Alliance are being greedy, and they've got a dual core lineup at least. I mean, you can even call it in some ways a tri-core, or even 4 heroes that can dish out the damage, because Naga's a pretty strong late game support if she gets farm, and Alliance like to get farm on their supports.
Right.
So I think Burning has to be super greedy here. If he's not, then you could get him farm, but if Alliance have 2 or 3 heroes that are close to him, then it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, and the second Hand of Midas just got picked up here on Namor Bulldog. A naked Hand of Midas even, but 6-minute Hand of Midas here on Nature's Prophet. You don't get that kind of timing without having some spectacular micros and spectacular lasting when he's in the lanes.
This is another reason why picking Chen is so strong, because Ake can go to the jungle. He's not a support who needs to use the pulls, whereas the Visage and the Nyx are. So because he's not using the pulls, it allows Bulldog to use them. He saves a little bit of mana. If you've ever jungled Prophet, you'll know that you often have to TP back home, heal up, get some more mana so you can summon more trance. When he's using the pulls, he doesn't have to. It gets him a faster Midas. It's just everything fits for them right now. Okay, so we've talked a lot about how efficient Alliance is. My question to you is, what's the game plan for DK? What are they going to do here?
Well, the first thing of all is get your support to level 6. You see QQQ right now, level 4. I mean, last time they were level 4, what, 12, 15 minutes in?
It's already a lot faster.
Yeah, a lot faster. And, oh, Beastmaster on the mid lane here. They want S4 dead. Do they have to follow up Chain Stun here? Iron Shout even on top. Magic Wand not really helping out. Botto through a couple more right clicks. Yes, they will get the first blood. And it's going to be MMY. And that just goes back to the point of getting level 6s on your support, because these kills gets a lot easier when you have Vendetta, when you have Summon from there. Look at how aggressive they want to put very offensive war behind that tier 1 tower. They want more kills. They want more towers.
EGM's already level 5. He's getting close to Song of the Siren, and if DK do overextend, it could go south for them in a hurry. But a big first blood, slowing down S4, and frankly, just getting a bit of confidence, because Alliance might have them rattled here. Burning up to 2,300 gold. He's sitting on it, Lumi, and it looks to me like if Alliance doesn't gank him very soon, he's just going to pick up a Battle Fury and go for it straight. He'll get boots maybe, but that's about it.
You think it's going to be Battle Fury, or maybe perhaps Shadowblade?
On Burning?
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you meant talking about Loda.
Oh, no. Loda Shadowblade. Loda always goes Midas and Shadowblade. He doesn't go for Battle Fury build, and I kind of think this is the best build, because the way they do it, they get the Midas really fast, and then you go straight into a map control item that puts pressure on the enemy team. Battle Fury is kind of passive. We saw that from Burning, that he just didn't get involved.
Well, look at the mid lane, under siege by a ton of creeps, as well as S4's Dragon.
Now driven off the lane for the time being. The tier 1 glyph forced out, but Loda pushing in the top lane, up to 300 gold. Burning, getting close to the Battle Fury. I believe he's got Broadsword and Claymore. He does. Still needs the Void Stone, though.
He's almost getting a tier 2 even. Look at that.
I mean, it's going to be a really fast Battle Fury for Burning, but if there was ever a time to say in Burning we trust, it's got to be now, because they find 1 kill mid, but still, you look at these supports. 4 on Die, and meanwhile, in the enemy team, there's a 5 Chen, there's a 5 Naga Siren, and they're not really finding that many kills. First blow was nice, but that's been it. They've been quiet.
Yeah, they got to get some kind of really good smoke ganks rotating in. Oh my goodness, Chen creeps de-warding. And well, the lonely sentry stands here on the mid lane. Super does have the Beast Master Roar on cooldown. Needs to get a smoke here with MMY and get something going.
There's a dire ward here, though. And meanwhile, Bulldog finds a tower deny. Now S4 hunting Burning, but he can't kill him by himself. He'll need some backup. Meanwhile, middle lane, Ake slowing down the push. S4 just gonna body block the camp. He'll stop a stack here from Burning. Just the small economic damage for him.
Yeah, and those small things add up. You talk about pulling on the other side of the map here by Alliance. They will prevent the stacking here on Anti-Mage.
This is not being stopped. That's going through freely. And DK, when you run a Beastmaster mid, when it's at its best, it's when you just keep on finding pickoffs. Every time Rose on cooldown, you go for a smoke or you just go for a TP gank and you set up kills, but there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at S4's build, he's respecting the nuking power coming out here from Super and his team. Belt Giant Strength, Bracer, he's sitting at 1100 HP with 6 charge on the Magic Wand, which is going to get ticked up if he gets initiated on. So I don't think Alliance is going to find a kill on S4. Not without level 6 on your Nyx Assassin, not without level 6 on your Visage.
His job is not to die this game. As long as he doesn't die and he farms up the most basic items imaginable, the treads, the BKB, maybe a drums along the way if he likes, that's all he's got to do, because there's absolute free farm on Loda, and in fact, he's almost got a Shadow Blade. It's going to be around a 10.5, 11-minute Shadow Blade by the time it's delivered. Burning will match that with around a 10-minute Battle Fury, but this is a lot more aggression available to Alliance, and Burning, despite having a fast Battle Fury, if Loda finds him, he can almost solo kill him. Anti-Mage is pretty squishy at this point to that right-click damage.
Oh, we do have DK. These two heroes been smoked up for quite a long time now. Vendetta not being used, but if they're going to run through the mid lane, they're going to run past the Central Ward, and S4 should notice that. Okay. Hard to actually find any kills here for DK.
It's almost the time for DK to fight, right? Because they have the mech on RTK. Well, he's not level 6 is the problem. QQQ is level 6, you've got Roar. I feel like they need to prioritize getting Die level 6 a little bit more. MMY still grouped up with his team mid. They just haven't done anything. There's 3 heroes sitting mid. They're not pushing the tower. They're not finding kills. And while that's happening, Alliance are farming everywhere. They're still defending the tier 1. Burning is getting farmed during this time. Now the pressure will mount, and DK will cluster up mid. But Alliance looking to reply. They've got a song. They've got a Loda Shadow Blade. Is DK ready for this? They are. Sentry Ward in the lane. In comes Loda, but straight into Dial Go. Gets off the stun. There's no Carapace in time. Now Roar on Loda, dropping fast and furiously. He'll fall. There's not your Chen ult, but it's a bit too late. EGM. Well, can he duke it out? RTK will fall. 1 for 1 so far. Another Impale on EGM. Low, but not dead yet. Still has a song. Can't get it off. He's going to die as well. Rare mistakes here from Alliance.
Here comes Burning on the backline. Sees does he have Oh, Manavoid misses. Oh, he's not going to get the kill. They want S4 instead. The stomp from the Centaur is going to delay S4 on the run. Does have Magic Wand charges. Will pop it. In fact, Flame Brave back, and now Super taking a ton more damage. Body blocking coming out from Centaur. They're going to get the kill. The micro from Aki is just doing it. Burning still back in the fight, but without Mana Void, and he's, man, he did not have boots in that fight. He would have got so many kills.
He rushed to Battle Fury naked, but he had to farm the boots first. And where's that out? Loda does run in directly to Central Ward and die. I mean, that's the perfect way for DK to start the fight. Loda gets picked off. He's not getting experience. He's not getting gold. He dies immediately. It was a 3 for 3 there in the end, but they forced Burning to TP. He doesn't really collect anything for his trouble. And he's not farming or putting pressure on the lane, so I'd say fairly even there. Loda dying, though, is a pretty big deal. He's got a Shadow Blade up, but the thing is, Loda can die and catch up a lot faster because his team stacked for him. Alchemist has Grievel's Greed and the Midas, and look what they're doing now. They're farming the Ancients, they're giving the jungle to Loda, and the tier 1 stands mid for Alliance, so DK just, is it enough? I feel like they're not, they traded there, and it's nice to find some kills, but to me, they need to come out on top and take some towers. They do, however, soon have level 6 on Die, and that might change things.
I feel like that's actually okay team fight for DK. Anytime that you take an even team fight and your anti-mage doesn't die and gets a little bit of EXP and go, you're happy, because if Burning doesn't join that team fight, he's pushing Raxes. If he does join that team fight, well, ideally you get a Mana Void kill, but he missed that on the last
Yeah, he was
engagement.
really close.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost had a double kill with that Mana Void, instead got nothing. It's just Alliance, like that's the difference with having one extra level, maybe one extra, you know, set of stats. Even an additional item. Without that, they probably die. But if you look at Ake, level 7 Chen, EGM was pretty highly leveled, had an urn. Oh, I don't know if he had the urn, but he definitely had the magic wand by then. Those small items and the incremental advantages kept them alive. Without them, they would have died.
Well, I think it's all eyes on Burning now. He's very close to that Battle Fury Treads and Quelling Blade Tricore, if you call it that. And once you get that one, look towards him blinking and slamming in every jungle camp and going to work, because his farm will try the best to match up against an Alchemist with Midas and Grievous Screed.
And a Prophet. Again, it's not just the Alch this game. That's how Alliance play. It's always Bulldog finding a lot of farm on a carry. And we'll have to see, can he do it? DK, they've got the 5-man lineup that wants to be forcing fights right
Burning
now.
on the bot lane here, gets stunned up. Minus armor, right click, not gonna get the kill.
And
Blinks back out. Are they done? Wrath of Nature comes. Oh my god.
Just missed bouncing to him there. Could have been the difference. And this is why he goes for the Burning build, right? This is why you take those points.
Mid lane here, S4 trying to get sent back. The Song and the sent back. S4 back home safely.
Gonna live. The Song is down now. Does DK try to force this? They did drop a wall. They've got a Dragon Knight illusion. They'll look to clear out the camps, or rather the catapult, and do they push? Oh, they're not going to. Now a net and RTK. Loda joining the fight. RTK caught. Netted up, but nice impale. Catches Ake in the river. He's going to go down for RTK. Now Bulldog comes in, looking for another trade. Soul Substance there. Not enough yet, but Bulldog low. Where's those last hits? Uphill miss. Too much. Bulldog's going to live. Now Alliance defending. Bulldog's running in. What's he doing?
Bulldog. Aggressive play, gets punished. I think
he missed control there. I think he wanted to move the Treants in.
Yeah, I think so too.
That like never happens to Alliance. When's the last time they've made a mistake like that?
I'm not too sure, but teamfight perhaps still going on. S4 does not have too much mana on stun, although does have 10 charges on the Magic Stick. Loda out of mana as well. By the way, Anti-Mage says, I come in, get a kill, and now I keep rolling. I keep getting more creep kills, and soon he's going to join the bot lane and get even more pressure. Again, even team fights favor an Anti-Mage. Keep in mind that Loda joined a team fight. He wasn't farming. He didn't get any kills, and now what an early Acceptor up on Beastmaster.
Yeah, we've seen this early Acceptor build a lot, and the one thing it is weak against is a team that can just protect that hero while he's roared, because you buff up your roar, but if your roar is not good enough to find kills, doesn't matter. Alliance don't have a Shadow Demon. They do, however, have the mech. They've got some good counter ganking prowess. It's a nice item, but you got to find kills with it. So far, DK 6-5. They've done a decent job, but I feel like an even game is an Alliance game, the way their games have been going. DK, they need to strike soon while the iron's hot, find that critical advantage, and they're going for it now. Super up to the high ground. Hawks there scouting out EGM. They're going to force the fight mid a bit, but Alliance are a strong defensive lineup. Do they look to contest this? Glyph is up. They're starting to wrap around, but Dai is scouting things out. There's no Sentry Ward in the lane. We've often seen that. In comes Loda, dropping the Acid Spray, prepping, and just delaying here. Now a Carapace. Could have been an opening, but S4 will dodge away from that. Will Burning get the last hit? Yes, he will. Did I even have to ask?
Beastmaster comes in right now. We need a send back. S4 dropped a quarter. Here comes the send back. Will he make it back? I think not. No. What a kill. EGM gets caught out. So ROTK finds a double for the team. They could be chasing for a little bit more. Great micro here from Aki as per usual. Will save the Centaur elites, but a huge advantage goes to Team DK. And Teammate says, I'm done here. Let's go back to farm.
Burning's going to go back, and not only is he going back to farming, but if he wants to just steal Alliance's Ancients, that would be nice for him. The other thing that's great about the way DK's playing is Loda's coming to fights. Even when he's not dying, his supports are also coming, and they're not stacking camps for him. So it's really slowing down his farm. I mean, at this point in the game, against a lot of other teams, you'd see Loda close to like 200 CS a minute. He's only sitting at 119, and Burning once trailing him by nearly 2.5k net worth. Now it's down to only 1.5. If they win a fight or two more, this could be DK's game for the pickings, because once Alliance lose all their outer towers, they can't really leave their base against a Nyx Assassin and a Nags Beastmaster.
Again, what we saw from the analysts last time after game number 1 is, sure, you have Anti-Mage very stacked on one side, you have Alchemist very stacked on the other side, but as the game rolls on, as a team fight happens, it really comes down to support. Who nukes harder, who has more stuns. It was Alliance support that really got the edge in the last game, and right now, if you see Visage, if you see the Nyx Assassin, they're getting so much done. MMY participated in every single kill that his teams got. QQQ. He's missing 2, but he's right there for most of them. So DK support on top of things this game.
Yeah, we'll have to. Oh, they're going in now on Die. He's got Vendetta. He's going to run, and there's a sentry, but it's just in range.
He's out of range.
Actually, he's in range. There's another sentry, but Roar on S4. Here comes the cavalry for DK. Double stun into effect. S4 low, and S4 will fall yet again. QQQ, however, there's your trade. Where's Burning? He's pushing top. Not available to help in this fight. 1 for 1. They got the DK, and Burning's farming. Call it a win here for Team DK.
Huge trade here. Obviously, Burning gets a last hit on the tower. They know that the Roshan won't be coming because there's just no damage coming out from Alliance. So they traded a support for a solo mid. Obviously, a great trade. A tier 1 tower on top. They even dare defend a tier 1 mid, or at least try to do so. DK getting humongous lead. And what we've seen Alliance just rolling hard in the early game, getting your ancient stacks, getting a ton of farm on Loda. Can they play from behind? This is a testament whether they could take Ti3. Can they go undefeated? I mean, a lot of things are riding on the line.
Loda, though. Here comes your net, but Burning blinks away. Loda can't find him. He's got a TP here as well. He's trapped in the trees. Loda trying to stun him through the tree line. That would have been an unbelievable play from Loda. If you're close enough, the self-stun will hit him, but couldn't get him in the end.
Burning says, young Padawan. Actually, I mean, how...
Loda ain't young,
Yeah, Loda ain't young. Loda's old school as well. Burning's... Who's older? In the esport age, I guess.
Loda's definitely older. I don't know who's older in esports years, but that's how many years you've been winning games. They've both been winning a lot of games for a very long time. Yasha's coming for Burning now, but if you're Alliance, they are a decent comeback team. They've got pretty good... They have the profit, and to me, that's the big thing. So even if they lose some towers, Bulldog can let them out of their base sometimes. But I feel like Alliance is 1 or 2 fights away from giving up Roche, from giving up their tier 2 mid. And if that happens, then I think DK have this game firmly in control.
Yeah, one thing that DK has to be very careful about is taking Roche without BKB and Burning, because you don't know when EGM's going to roll around with a Song of Siren and suddenly you lose the Aegis goes to Loda, and the team fight could go the other way. I'd like them to just slow down a little bit, make sure that they get the map advantage, make sure they knock down the last couple of tier 2s.
Here comes your smoke, they're looking for Bulldog, there's your Roar! They've caught him again, another kill. Burning's there as well, and DK, is this Roche? I'm not sure. It is a Prophet, and he can always buy back. Yeah. Not this time, though.
And there's a rare scene at Bandit Royale Hall. They are cheering for Burning. They're cheering for DK.
DK, not quite the hometown favorites, but they definitely have some devoted and passionate fans here. And they've got some momentum. It's one of the few times we've ever seen Alliance lose the laning stage at all. And they didn't really lose the laning stage, but I guess you could say like the 5 minutes after it. And now, well, they're trailing in terms of gold. 2,000, 1,000 experience as well. DK, right now, they're in the lead.
Yeah, they are. We do see Loda going for a plate mail. Probably a Soul Curious that's going to give him a ton of man fight power. No, he goes back for a BKB.
Yeah, just a casual BKB. Okay. Why the hell not? He's still out farming Burning, by the way. Burning's got 48 more CS. Burning is 0-0 and 3. Loda's died once, but still Loda's ahead.
Rigo OP.
Yeah, I mean, but I think to keep perspective on this, like you kept on pointing out, it's about these supports for Alliance, and I remember how fast those items came out. The mech was there by like 12 minutes for Ake. EGM had a really quick 4-step, and look at what he's sitting on now. Just an urn, a belt of giant strength. It's the pressure that DK is putting with their... This is 4 Protect 1 at its finest. 4 heroes forcing the enemy to react, so they're not stacking camps, they're not farming, and all the while Burning is, the more mobile and the harder to kill carry is going to get more in this situation, and that's what Burning's anti-mage is.
And now Burning, not only farming, he's applying so much pressure by farming. He's pushing up top. It's hard for anybody to rotate and defend. Alliance, they're getting no trades. They're going to try to get Roshan. The damage is not there, though. They do have BKB. That's really not a true damage.
It might be there. They've got acid spray. It's dropped by Loda now.
But here comes the entire DK line.
Oh, this is going to be tough. ROTK's got a blink and a vacuum. The tier 2 falls top, and Alliance really gambling on this. If they lose this fight, this could cost them a lot. Alliance, though, standing strong. Roche dropping fast. Here come your familiars. Stun number 1 to fly. Now 2. It didn't clip Loda. Die waiting. Where's that initiation?
Burning is getting your racks up top. I mean, if you take long, he's working on tier 3. Aegis gets, and everybody TP back. Good gamble by Alliance. They know they have Song. They know even if the blink wall comes in, they could just reset and run the hell out. But tier 3 damage kind of fatal up top.
Yeah, DK definitely could have fought that. I mean, they had blink vacuum wall in the Roshan pit. They have Aghanim's Beastmaster. So they had familiars nearby. Die was available to jump in. They're basically saying, we're not afraid of your Aegis. We can beat you even if you get it.
Well, Aegis on Loda does kind of mean a couple of things. It means you can't really Beastmaster, Roar, and Nyx, Assassin, Vendetta, Impale. If you blow everything on Loda and he comes back alive and drops a stun on one of your carries, you are actually losing a team fight because you're out of spells and Alliance has all of theirs. Meanwhile, you can see that Burning continue to apply pressure up top. That means just that Alliance always is down one hero on the other side of the map because Burning will just force you to TP back.
Yeah, there's no Keeper of the Light though, so Burning's not going to be in the fights either. Not yet. He'll wait for at least one more item, maybe two, and they're probably going to wait out this Aegis to me. I think DK, they don't want to fight now, so they're fine that Alliance has the Aegis, and if Alliance tries to force fights, Burning will just split push. So unless he gets caught, they'll be in good shape. DK, they've had a great start, right? They've found those pickoffs. They took out a lot of early towers. Alliance normally has a massive tower lead. In this game, they've only got a tier 2 mid left standing. But what's the next step for DK? Is it just the clock ticking on the anti-mage, or is there something else they should be doing?
I think you make sure you defend the tier 1 tower, but yeah, it's a clock ticking on AM. Very smart item choice coming out here from the Beastmaster Vlad. Great item for anti-mage for lifesteal. They want to take a fight mid. No, TP being forced back here on Dragon Knight.
And now they could fight mid if Alliance stick around, because remember, they just TP'd one off. Burning can TP back.
No, they want to kill.
They want to go bottom. Watch out for Super. Roar jumps in, slamming and jamming. There's a Mana Void here. Uses it. It's not enough, though. S4 is going to live. That's your Hand of God from Anke, but now it's down.
It was Hand of God, a 15 charge magic wand, brought him up, and he used it right before the Mana Void came. So without those two things, and both of those things, it was necessary. DK Burning was going to get a kill, and if you get a kill on S4 there, perhaps Rax was going to go down.
Yeah, what definitely happens is you force them to TP back bottom, and everyone just barrels down mid and does a lot of damage to the tier 2 mid. And that matters for the next Roche. There's no glyph on Alliance. That's a big win for, well, it's still a decent position for DK, I feel, because Roar's got a 40-second cooldown. You just do that whenever you want.
And of course, Hand of God is definitely a very long cooldown. The only thing they have lost on that was AM's mana, which is, dropping precariously low.
Precariously low. Very precarious. So DK now, we're into game 2, and they need this win. If they lose this game, they drop down to the loser's bracket, and that's not where you want to be. You win this, you're guaranteed top 3 finish, which would already be better than last year for them. But they're trailing 1-0 in the series, and Alliance are not a team that you can say, we're ahead, we've won. You got to kill their throne, because otherwise these guys aren't giving up.
Well, we're going to see a slow siege perhaps coming to the mid lane. The power of that Beastmaster Aghanim Scepter, we've been seeing it more and more in this game. Not only is it allowing them to initiate and counter-initiate very far away, the second thing that allows you to really do against a lot of melee Chen creeps, melee heroes overall, is to push aside ability.
Oh, here we go. Onto the top lane. They're looking for Bulldog. Die springs the trap. He was waiting in the trees. Now he impales him. There's a Mana Void here. No. No Mana Void. He's even on Intredge, and he still doesn't have it. Self-sprouting, but back. There's no escape for Bulldog. Now goes down again. Song was wasted by EGM, or maybe not. Here comes a stun from Loda. Can he set anything good up here? ROTK running. Only stunning QQQ. The Visage, though. Chain stun up. Loda with a BKB. One to fall, now a net on Burning. They're bringing him down pretty fast, he mantas, but still he's caught. Now he's Dragon-tailed, and Burning's gonna die. What a trade.
Double kill going on on Loda so far. Impale, nicely done, but they will find MMY. One more ensnare is going to do it. Off getting fogged. There's the ensnare. And MMY, no, Loda stuns himself, but it shouldn't matter too much as they have 3 heroes surrounded. No buyback coming out from anybody. MMY delays it for a long time. He will go down.
It looked like the song wasn't going to do anything, but it ended up being huge for them. And this is one of the big differences between Dota 1 and Dota 2. In Dota 1, you can manta out of that net, and you live. But here you can't.
Yeah, and also there was no really defensive spells, defensive force staff to make sure that anti-mage survived. Last time when anti-mage came, was under heavy focus, when Loda was playing the AM, we saw multiple force staff. You see S4 thinking about backdooring, but he says, oh, Beastmaster, we're dropping on the bot lane.
You can't run if you're Bulldog. They're just haunting to the ends of the earth. Bulldog is not going to have the kind of game he did last time. Shut down again, picked off again, make it 1-4 for him, and Super just keeps on rolling. Still, though, if you're Alliance, you did take a tier 1 mid. And I think the way that fight top went overall, the past 3 to 4 minutes have been very good to Alliance.
Right. I also think that Anti-Mage died in that particular team fight because he had a ton of gold, but never really had the time to buy something. So once he comes back alive, he buys a Reaver, or he buys a BKB, or he buys a Vit Booster, whatever tanking item that he wants, he's going to get. But meanwhile, the dual prong smoke gank, or the dual prong invis gank coming out from Loda and S4, not going to find too much.
Yeah, 2 Shadow Blades there. I also want to point out, because we've been talking a lot about support items and how the supports matter as the game goes on. Super's gone for Vlad's, and this frees up burning a lot. Sometimes we see anti-mages will go for ones, but this means that your Beastmaster's already tanky. He's got good base armor. Now he's got more Vlad's armor. He's got a lot of HP. He's standing in these fights for a while, and he's making sure that burning can lifesteal. So the anti-mage will live longer, will do more damage, and I think once burning gets his next item, Roche is coming back in a couple of minutes. Age is about to be reclaimed. The next Roche will be very heavily contested by DK.
Well, he's thinking about heart recipe already purchased. I mean, once you have a heart on burning, with the backup that he has from a mech as well as a blink wall vacuum, does this guy die? We saw him getting focused, getting netted and things like that, but it seems very, very difficult to pierce through his high armor, Manta style, heart, and now, of course, his ability to kind of jump away in anywhere he wants to go.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to kill him, but you can also win these fights if you kill everyone else. And there are some heroes that are very vulnerable to getting caught. MMY is an easy solo kill for the Alk. So too is QQQ. And like we've talked about, the support items, there's no Ghost Scepters, there's no Force Staffs. These heroes getting caught means they're dead.
Yep, fair enough. Well, we'll see what this Heart's going to do. Meanwhile, Slow Siege from DK looking for a pickoff. If you get a pickoff against Alliance right now, you get that tier 2 free. So,
and that tier 2, it dictates the Roche positioning.
Right.
If Alliance don't have their tier 2 mid and they try to defend Roche, and they come from this avenue, anywhere down the middle lane, then there's a high chance that they just get caught by a Beastmaster gank, by a Nyx gank. It's very dicey to do it. So you can see they really need to defend this tier 2, they're focusing on it.
Yeah, the state of the game is that if nothing happens for DK, they're applying the better pressure as they're farming. Admiral Bulldog has been trying to do the same, but every time he's tried, he's getting roared, he's getting ganked. Burning, sees the top lane, and look, they're doing the exact same thing that Loda did against them last time, sending illusions, just harassing your buildings.
Last game, Alliance had the split push advantage. This game, it seems to be DK burning, slowly doing some damage to that tower. There is no living armor this game, Lumi, so every bit of damage on the towers will stay there until they fall. DK now grouping up and heading into the dire jungle. Super, Gem online. I gotta say, I love the way they've used this Beastmaster. Because we've seen some teams pick Beastmaster like LGD did and didn't really use it that effectively. But DK, it's complete map control, and they've got the perfect supports to roam with him. Gets the early gem, constantly scouting and applying pressure, and now the full might's there. Blink back from RTK, slightly out of range for an Impale. Almost, though. If they get that pickoff, they might force a buyback, at least.
With back on cooldown, they could actually make a defense. There's a Psalm Siren to initiate burning, getting low caught out. He does not have BKB burst, trying to get some stuns. He does get one off burning, gets sprouted. He should be absolutely fine. The team fight goes the other way here. Loda, 1v4. He's going to work right now, but he's surrounded by illusions. He's still not going down. Where's Burning? Burning getting bashed. Burning goes down. Admiral Bulldog with the double kill. They see ROTK. He blinks away. MMY, can he use Vendetta? No, Admiral finds yet another one. TPL attempt. The stun, the mini stun. Loda finds the haste as well. They will get him, and they will keep on moving. MMY, survivor in this particular team fight, but that was a huge victory for Loda and Alliance.
This chain stun from Alliance is unbelievable. It's immaculate. I mean, every single stun is necessary to get the kills. They're chaining them perfectly. They're not overlapping them. If they do that, Burning probably lives there. They actually didn't even have a Basher. That was just perfect chain stun. Now the Basher comes out for Loda. And the other thing is, that fight was different because Super's always been starting the fights for DK this game. But that fight, it's the Psalm that starts it, and every time Psalm starts the fights, Alliance have follow-up. We've talked about Naga as a support. Sometimes she feels weak if Psalm isn't really used to maximum effect, but it's to maximum effect this game, and all of a sudden Alliance, straight to the bottom lane, they say, Burning, you better buy back, buddy. He doesn't actually have it. They're trying to breach the high ground here. Loda in the front lines. Basher's coming. Roche up soon. If they get this lane of Rax, Roche will be much harder to contest for Team DK. Will Alliance commit? No big commitment yet, just sitting back. Now looking for a net. Super's really far. They're going on QQQ. BKB from Loda. One's down. Now he's got to run. Bulldog will as well. They back in. Bulldog. Still Loda retreating out. Roar on Bulldog. Looks like it might be a kill. Bulldog gonna fall. There was a buyback on Visage. Bulldog dead. Sending home the Alchemist in the end. They do defend their racks though. Burning not able or forced to buy back there. Roche is coming soon, Limmy. This next Roche fight, this could decide the game.
Yeah, this is a very, very important defense. Alliance did a ton of damage, but I'm not too sure whether that damage is actually worth it. There is buyback available from Admiral Bulldog, and I think it's actually baiting it. A lot of Prophet likes to buy back immediately to basically get map control back with using your ultimate, using your Midas, but I think they want to bait DK into the Roshan pit. They have to buy back ready on Admiral Bulldog. They have Naga Siren Sleep. Watch Alliance as they try to set up a big counter.
There's a Song of the Siren already online because EGM's level 13, so they have Song to contest this. There's no BKBs on DK. Look for an Aegis snipe here from Alliance. Already the Song to fly. Roshan comes out of the pit, but the big boy's still pretty tanky. Loda prepping to stun. It could hit 3. It could hit 4. It's gonna hit 3. Oh no! S4 trapped though. Burning strikes first. Everyone in the pit's fine. Now Roar and Loda. Beautiful focus fire. DK are winning this fight. Loda now driven back for the time being. Comes through the wall. 3 to fall. DK overrunning Alliance at the pit, and they might just get Roche.
Forget Song, forget Loda, forget S4. Super initiates or counter initiates. Now Aegis goes to Burning, and they need to push quick and hard. 30 seconds dead here to S4, and the DK chants keep on coming. Loda, very smart play, goes on the top lane. Gotta split push, gotta apply pressure, and Burning pushing his own creep wave there on the mid lane as well. If the next item comes out on Burning, that's gotta be difficult because once you get Butterfly and Heart on Anti-Mage, oh god, he's unkillable.
Yeah, there's no NKB on Loda, and even if he wants to buy one, he's still quite a ways off of it. He's close to the Abyssal Blade if he purchases it now, but this is also where if DK are applying pressure, Alliance really have to fear for not having buyback. So they're going to save for the buyback. The tier 2's falling mid, burning onto the high ground, leaping forward, searching for a game 2 victory. If they do win this game, it would be the first time that Alliance has lost a game at the International 3. And to the high ground they go. There's no glyph here. There's no song here. The tier 3 has fallen. Will DK commit? No, they'll back off. They do take a tier 3, Lumi, but they're not ready to breach that high ground yet.
Oh, are they thinking about going back in?
Oh.
Boarding back up.
Where's that smoke? Did they lose their gem earlier? It looks like they might have lost it. RTK did lose his gem in that fight.
Yeah,
so
it's on EGM now.
if you smoke up, it's pretty risky because they could have an observer ward spotting you.
Yeah, warded, immediate dewarded in the mid lane here as EGM does have that gem. One thing to keep in mind that there is a Heaven's Halberd up on EGM, which means that if you drop it on Anti-Mage, you cannot Manta out of that. So I think a BKB perhaps is in order for Burning. He's got 4.2k gold right now. Let's see, spending it. I think he's actually thinking about going to Butterfly.
The problem with that is that if you go for BKB, I mean, it's not the best item against Alliance. They've already got the Naga Net. And they also have the Alchemist Abyssal Blade. So wasting a precious inventory slot on something like that means Burning's not getting an MKB, or no, sorry, not an MKB, but a Basher to man fight the Alchemist perhaps. His inventory slots are running out. He's got room for 2 more items, assuming he gets Boots of Travel, because otherwise he'll want a TP scroll. So yeah, maybe he has to go BKB, but the fact that he does is a big advantage.
Right, that's the thing though. Like you can't man fight if you can't attack, right? And that's what Disarm does for you. So. Burning, he's going to be pick up an Eagle Song right now. There you go.
Yeah, it'll be Butterfly first, and then that next item is where he's got to say, what do I do here?
Well, we'll see. Now, the other interesting interaction is that Song of Siren, despite doing a lot for Alliance so far, keep in mind that they will sleep only non-magically immune units. So BKB will allow Burning to attack within it if he wants to go for it. But the other Q interaction is that your familiar birds from QQQ, he's been actively stunning during the Song of Siren, trying to prevent the initiation, prevent the setup coming up from Alliance. So look towards QQQ to continue to make those big plays. He has been making big stuns in these team fights already.
DK are one good fight away from Rax right now, I think. Alliance, so looking at their buybacks, they actually have none. No buybacks available for anybody. They've all spent their gold. So if they do lose this next fight, the Rax are exposed. Sure, there's a glyph, but you lose that fight, you lose Rax. And now Burning about to pick up a Butterfly. I think this is the time. This is the timing for DK. You could wait for the next Roche. You've got 3 minutes. He's got his Butterfly. If you don't go now, then Alliance will pick up at least 1 more item on everyone. That means load is pretty much maxed. Bulldog's going to have his next item, and then the DK might actually pick up an AC or start to pack a punch in these fights. So to me, this is DK's time to shine. Go for the high ground. You've got a Blink Scythe on Darkseer now. They are 1 fight away from taking Rax and quite possibly game 2.
I think they just need the Anti-Mage Butterfly to be delivered. He's got everything. It's coming back now from the Secret Shop. Here we go. Once you pick up the Butterfly, you do go for the high ground.
Of
course.
Man. And a DD.
Of course.
And a DD. And now he'll go into the pit. And he'll blink forward. Now leaping up. Burning says, it's time, guys. The fun ends here. Here we go. Burning, heading towards the high ground. They'll wait for the creep wave to commit. They can't go on him, not with this Aegis. There's no tier 3 here. There is a Son available. In comes S4. Burning trying to clear off the trend creep. He does get stunned. But remember, he's got Aegis. They'll Dragon Tail. They'll slow him down, but with the evasion, he's hardly being scratched. Loda, reluctant to go in. Roar and EGM, are they going to leap for this? They are, but unfortunately, EGM's been pulled away. Can he get off a song? Where's that Mono Void? He's chain stunned. No, he gets it off! but the BKBs for Alliance are down. I don't know if this is their fight, Lumi. A lot of wall illusions. Burning leaping in. He's jumped into 5. He's got Aegis, but he's going to fall. Big win for Alliance. Now they need to get the hell out. Burning's coming back. 2 heroes sprouted. Is Alliance actually going to hold this? Unbelievable.
Burning getting stunned up right now. He's still dealing with a whole bunch of chain creeps. Force that forward. They gotta say, oh, why? Let's actually go for the Rex. MMY in huge trouble. They are trying to run now. Alliance makes it defense. Another stun goes on Burning. Half HP. The burns are coming in, trying to. Oh man, Tasao comes back out. He will blink away, but that's Aegis used on a huge advantage and not getting a single Rex. Can they make it out alive? That's a question. Or will they turn? Burning? Is he going to wait on the high ground? Beastmaster Roar. They see ammo.
He's coming back.
Push for you, and now DK Burning. His HP's back up to full. He thinks he can make some big plays.
There's no song now. Burning might just be able to do this. Sure, there's no Aegis, but there's no song either. DK just one fight away. They've got a Blink Scythe. They could jump Loda here if they want. They're trying to bait him a bit farther out, though. Not going yet. Lumi, I mean, I think you got to say overall, that's a huge win for Alliance. Aegis was burned. DK don't end up taking racks.
Yeah.
The top lane pushes in. They didn't use any buybacks either. Sure, they had some deaths, but they withstood the torrent, the deluge. Now does the tide recede?
It was a huge miscommunication between Burning and ROTK. Burning blinking forward to focus on Naga, but Naga gets back. And once you get up the song, everybody resets. I think DK Burning had blood in his eyes. He was just says, I got a double damage, let me chase for kills. But I think
they had that Naga kill, and that was almost certainly racks.
Right. If they did, after the song went off, if they just focused on the racks, there was nothing actually stopping them. There was no stuns or anything. So DK making a rare late game mistake. Let's see if it's going to cost them at all. They are still very ahead, but Aegis is down, and the next Roshan is going to be back relatively soon. Burning, applying pressure up top. But that was a big advantage lost by DK.
Yeah, DK are, sure, they're one fight away from taking racks, but Alliance are one fight away from suddenly getting a lot of map control back. The tier 2 mid will probably fall off of that. They can get some wards up. DK might lose their gem if they lose a fight, and that means, again, map control to Alliance. Neither team out of the woods yet. It really comes down to, I think, just one more fight. It's so close. 39 minutes in, 17 to 15. These opponents very evenly matched.
S4 trying to get up his next item. You talked about Soul Curious being a big, or any kind of armor, real armor being big. Obviously that we already have AC on Loda, but S4 hasn't been really finding his farm this game. He's been dying quite a bit. 4 def on S4 is unusually high.
Yeah, so like you pointed out, there's already an AC on the Alk, which I forgot about. What do you think he goes for instead? Is it a Heaven's Halberd?
Heaven's Halberd, yeah. Definitely do. Force out that BKB, force Burning's hand, make him buy a BKB, take up an inventory slot. And I think that's the best he could do for his team. You expect Loda to do all the right clicks, and he's going to be the annoying Frost Dragon, throwing out stuns, throwing out disarms, and of course, slowing everybody down.
And if you're on the side of Team DK, what other items should they be going for? You were so close to taking racks. What is your game plan as we head into the next fight? Well, it's going to be a BKB for Burning. That's the game plan.
Yeah, now with the BKB on Burning, you can go for the Roshan very safely. Song of Siren is nice, but when you are BKB, you don't care about that Naga song.
They want to pick on Loda. He stops to kill off the courier. Nah, I'm not going to be able to get in range for him. So Burning doesn't have room for Aegis. Who do you give it to?
That's a good question. I think you gave it to Super.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Super as well, because Roar has a 40-second cooldown, 45.
Yep.
If you get off 2 in the team fight, that could just change that. That's probably the team fight going your way.
His aura is also huge. I mean, he has a Vlad's aura for you. He has an Inner Beast aura. This is attack speed, damage, lifesteal, and armor. Like that's a ton of stuff that's on a very key hero. So I think he would get the Aegis if they get it.
Yeah. So DK now, maybe they wait for the next Roche. 2 minutes in. Until that happens, Burning pushing out the top lane, has 1600 gold. He will want Boots of Travel buyback, ideally before that next climactic team fight. But beyond that, there's not many places for Anti-Mage to go. Maybe Cancelo's Battle Fury, but you want that to push out the lanes. Burning's pretty much maxed. It really comes down to what other items can the other heroes get. Super, sitting on a Vlad's right now, 3.4k gold. I think something like a Blink Dagger or Boots of Travel could be pretty huge here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Burning's Anti-Mage slots, and I'm quite concerned because once Anti-Mage hits his peak, he's pretty much done. Like, he's not going to get any stronger.
He's by himself, he will not put out as much damage as Loda, S4, as well as Bulldog with similar farm. Here comes the team fight, though. Burning lunging forward. He's going to get stunned to start this fight. BKB from S4. They need the chain stun, but they've isolated Loda. Roared him up. Now Burning marching forward. BKB from both. Who's going to win the man fight? It's too many bashes from Loda. Burning's driven back. Loda, though, dropping low. Now sight up. Impaled to fly as well. Burning jumping in again. One more over the breach. On to Baki, they'll go. 2 will fall. Loda will buy back. And now Bulldog tries to run away. A song was used for this. That means no Psalm now, Lumi. This might be high ground for DK. This might be Roche.
Yeah, well, do you go Roche or do you go high ground? That's the big story.
Call. Yeah, I think because of the buybacks for Alliance, Roche is the safer play. Because if you have to back from that, you kind of can.
If you go for Roche, the cooldowns reset. You see Admiral Bulldog trying to push in. Darkseid buys back to make sure they get the Roche, but...
Surging and heading directly towards the bottom lane. They're trying to apply some pressure onto Bulldog, push that lane out. Burning now up to 4K gold. Roche about to respawn, and he can definitely solo this. Familiars will be there. Alliance, though, I feel like they're not going to let this one go down without a fight.
I felt like that was one of those calls that it's hard to say within the heat of the moment, but now after having perfect vision as an observer, maybe they should have gone for high ground. With S4 being dead for such a long time, with BKB, it's still cooling down for Loda since he used it, died, and bought back. I think they could have made a play on that Rax.
Here we go, though. Loda trying to go into the pit. The boar doing some annoying scouting here, and Roche is going to fall. DK are going to claim it.
Aegis
uncontested. Aegis and Cheese. Burning's maxed. You have Aegis. You have Cheese. This should be enough. If it's not enough, then you just have to take your hat off to Alliance, because they truly would be unbeatable.
Well, we do have buyback as well as Breach of Travel and Burning, so look towards him playing very aggressive. If he thinks he could end the game right now, there's no reason to hold anything back. Tier 3 or Raxus, only about
There's a glyph. There's a lot of buybacks here. They'll net Burning to start. Loda thinking about going in. Now it's S4. He's got a Dragon Tail. They're kiting Burning. The Rax not dead just yet. Slowly healing up. Now a BKB from Loda. It's been forced out. And he got nothing. He got nothing. Can they fight now? Can they fight?
Great QQQ bird drops here, making sure that no Alliance members were able to chase out. I think DK is going to be angling for a fight right now.
And if they take one lane of Rax, can Alliance stop them from taking two? There's no BKB. It is cooling down. They'll Dragon Tail Burning. They'll slow him down. That stun only hits one on the Visage. He is pretty low. But Burning is just immune to damage. Now a blink in effect! ROTK delivers! But a beautiful song from EGM, buying him time. BKB Burning. He's isolated during this song. He's dropping fast. Monovoid's there. He's still alive!
Burning says, let's right click. I got Vlads. I got everything. S4 buys back. He TPs and pops a BKB, and Burning just right click the Rex. He's found it. He's got it. Keep in mind the tier 3 towers up top low. Are they going to go for buybacks coming out for here from Alliance? But they just can't get a kill. Everybody's alive. They see ROTK. He uses the cheese. He's back alive. Burning looking
here
for more.
Here they go. Double familiar stun on S4. Backed in. Dropping in a hurry. Sent home. But EGM, no such luck. His fate is death. Burning seals it with a Monovoid, and DK, one lane of Rex down, pressing for two. This could be the end of the undefeated run of the Alliance. Unstoppable they look, but DK have struck back. They're going to take game 2, it feels. Alliance not dead yet, but close to being so. Burning now, 3 lanes of Rex. He wants the win, and he wants it now.
DK Burning trying to get a scintillating victory for DK. Representing China said, we can't beat Alliance. This is the first match. Here comes S4. The sun goes up, but that's the melee Rax. The range Rax soon to follow. That's going to be Mega Creeps. And the question that we are all asking is, can Alliance come back from Mega Creeps?
Even gods may bleed. The Alliance unstoppable thus far. 45 minutes in, just got Mega Creep. DK, they kept on beating their head against that wall. And finally, they've broken through. Even ROTK isn't an easy kill. Heading towards the north.
He's got Blink.
And you got to go back to that fight and say, ROTK. I mean, Bulldog did get 1 lane of Rax during this, but that's Mega Creeps. From here, DK should be able to win.
Well, they should, but are they? Because there's no GG coming out from Alliance.
They think they got this. Is there?
I mean, if you're Alliance, right, you don't have anything to lose at this point. You just go big.
Yeah, even if you lose this game, there's a game 3.
Right.
You don't have as much pressure on you as DK. DK has to win this to stay alive. They'll stick in it. There's 10k gold on Burning. I'd like to see a fresh BKB, although his is already 8 seconds, so maybe not. But all you have to worry about from DK is some horrible team fight where you get picked off and Alliance is in position to take your Rex. But they still have a tier 2 mid. So for Alliance to take 2 or 3 lanes of Rex is going to be way harder than for DK to go for the throne. Can DK just do something like a smoke and just head straight down mid?
I mean, they don't need to. All they have to do is make sure every member of their team have buyback. In this situation, the only thing that's going to beat them is perhaps a mass backdoor into on the top lane and into the throne. But of course, they have 2 fresh tier 4 towers. That throne's still obviously a fresh HP, full HP. So DK, maybe they're going to go for a pick. They say, you know what, if we find one, we go for the pick off, we win.
Burning, he just spent some gold here at the side shop. It's a Demon Edge. What's he going for here? Is this an MKB?
Who's got?
There's a Talisman of Evasion on Loda, so it looks like an MKB.
Burning says, I mean, is he going for the ZSMJ play?
I think he's going to sell the, what do you think, Rapier and then just straight for the throne?
So you jump in a team fight, you die. You sell. Oh no. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
All right. There goes.
And you buy back. You pick up your Rapier.
Yeah, pick up the Rapier. Buy back Breach of Travel in. But picking up MKB is not too bad against a Talisman of Evasion on Loda.
So the thing for Alliance now is even though they want to split push and backdoor, normally Prophet's great at that. When you're up against Mega Creeps, Bulldog can keep one lane out, but DK should be able to keep all the lanes in general. At best, they get to about the river. So if Bulldog tries to trade, the tier 4s can be focused now since there's the tier 3 down top, but he'll need a lot more backup if they want to win in a base race. So they'll be forced to fight, and they'll be forced to fight against a buyback Anti-Mage, a buyback Beastmaster. In fact, everyone is buyback right now, aside from that Darkseer. The key hero who can't die is RTK. Aurora to start, on the Lotus Song, immediately prepped. EGM with the counter initiation.
The birds are keeping him locked down.
They're keeping him locked down. Burning now, the Song's expended. Will he go for the Rex? No, he goes for the kills. On to Bodog. Bodog to fall. Now Loda. Loda's dead, and it looks like the Swedish Giants may yet fall. They're dropping fast. Burning's out of control. GG! And DK are going to take game 2 and knock down the undefeated Alliance, their first loss of the International 3.
DK has done it. Nobody believed that Alliance could be defeated, but DK says, on a day's work. On a day's work. They're not even excited. Oh my God. DK.
And they're on their feet here. This might be North America, but there's a lot of DK fans in the house. Outstanding performance from DK. They stay alive, and now, Lumi, it comes down to a deciding game 3. And with that being said, we're going to throw it back to James, Bruno, and the rest of the analysts. Guys, what do you think?
So then it's going all the distance with our first match of day 3 between Alliance and DK. And, well, obviously, first of all, let's give props to DK. But also, Mark, I'm going to have to give props to you on this one. We went round and asked how DK are going to be able to come back in the match, how they're going to win. You said they need to start initiating the fights. What did they get? Beastmaster Ags on Super. And he was, for the mid-game, amazing for them.
Just saw how many kills they can pick off through the vision of the birds, both from Visits and Beastmaster himself, and with that axe there was no escaping him. Really great execution, but Burning, I mean, wow.
I doubted it before the game.
As the best carry in the world, possibly. That Anti-Mage just went toe-to-toe with the entire Alliance lineup, and he died in some of the fights, but in other of the fights he's just standing there fighting 3 people at once, surviving, killing them. That was spectacular.
I mean, they had so many stuns and disables for him. They constantly kept him netted. They sheeped him. They had Dragon Tail. They had Alchemist stun. They had such good chain stun with the Centaurs too, but they just could not take him down. He was just way too far, way too tanky, and it just really pays a tribute to how good of a carry player he is. Notice the time on a top lane. He blinked into the trees instead of blinking into Loda's stun, and not that many carry players would do that.
No, that was definitely great play by Burning. I'm still a bit shocked with how well this Anti-Mage was. I think it was probably a better Anti-Mage than Loda's last game. Anti-Mage 2-0 in this series against the Alchemist.
I think this was the part of Burning where if they actually did kill him, it would have been huge, but
look how
unable
Burning
to do
doesn't
so.
die here. He survived so low.
They had such good counter initiation, and Alliance had no force apps this game. I'm very surprised. It served them very well in each of the previous series, but EGM instead opting for a Heaven's Halberd. Alchemist got a Heaven's Halberd too. Shen did not have one. I think they could have saved a couple people from the Primal Roar. It's really good versus it.
What they did have this time around was 3 Shadow Blades, despite the fact that Darkseer actually picked up a gem very early on. Or I think Visits bought it for him, but they had a gem 16 minutes into the game, and still they completed 3 Shadow Blades. That was a bit odd to me. I think I prefer seeing them when they have like a steady amount of 4 staff heroes on their lineup rather than having both DK and Alchemist and Siren on the same team. Just doesn't seem to work out all that well for them. They can't really juke the enemy around.
I'm going to actually ask you, Ben and Jacob, about this game ended in 48 minutes and 19 seconds, so not a fast game. It's not a super 99-minute game, but it's not fast game. And Alliance had 3 cores. They had the Dragon Knight, they had the Alchemist, and the Nature's Prophet. 3 heroes that can scale very well, and by this time 3 of them are farmed, while DK only has 1 carry, which is the Anti-Mage. Of course, the other heroes really help, but they are not able to input that amount of right-click damage. So why do you think that only Burning, just by himself, was able to consistently beat the other 3 in team fights, even though he was just one versus. It was a problem with the execution of Alliance. It was just Burning being a person that comes from another planet.
Well, let's not discredit the rest of DK. He still had a team behind him.
Well, Visage as well, right? The
Exactly.
amount of damage Visage was putting out in the early to mid game, it was sniping off heroes. The tier 1 tower mid, there was a really good fight where they did snipe off some heroes. There was a big mistake as well. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, Admiral Bulldog was not on top of his game. He actually ran back in, miscontrolled his hero when he escaped a fight. He also wanted to chase a anti-mage who was leaving the base with hearts, and then he found the anti-mage. And that was good for Burning and DK. But yeah, overall,
yeah, QQQ's visits was really spot on, especially with the bird micro. I was very impressed with some of the landings they did, especially on DK. S4 did not have an easy time. The birds would just constantly land down upon him, and Burning would just sweep in for the kill.
Maybe No Tail was sitting next to them.
Maybe No Tail had the micromanagement going on.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure. But I think this game proves that this tournament is not all about having 3 cores, because that has been the trend of the tournament, basically. Yeah. You divide farm onto several heroes. We saw it the last game. It didn't really work out when there was only one hero to get all the farm on. We desperately needed some farm on the Weaver on Super last game. Yep. We saw LGD yesterday. They went all out with just having one Alchemist and relying on that, and that did not work out for them either. But this game, does it take a Burning to be able to play 4-1?
I mean, they had Super on the Beastmaster. He had a Refresher at the end. He had Scepter, Refresher, Ghost Scepter, and Vlad's. And ROTK and MNY on the Darkseer and the Nyx Assassin, respectively, really turned those team fights around in the mid-game. They had some really, really nasty vacuum into 3-4-man impales that just was great counter-initiation to the Song of the Siren setup by Alliance. And I think he just had a lot more support from last game, than the last game. The Burning on the Alchemist, he just didn't have any support. No Force Staffs, no real good counter-initiate. It was just Burning versus 5. And this game, it was like Burning, and then he had a lot more help from his team and the visits that you talked about.
One of the things that I would have